Good evening. Welcome to FRCmedia News for Thursday, August 31st, 2017. I'm Keith Tebow. Tonight we have a recap of last night's People's Debate, sponsored by South Coast Media, the first forum featuring the candidates running for mayor. We also detail initiatives that will take place in Fall River schools next week that observe National Attendance Awareness Month. And finally, we take a look at last week's boat racing on Fall River's waterfront. But first, let's check in with the news headlines of the week. We bring in Will Richmond, the digital news editor at the Herald News. Will, thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks for having me, Keith.
As I said last night, the political season got into a little bit of a higher gear as the first mayoral debate of the season took place, featuring 4 of the 5 candidates running in the September 12th preliminary election. The only candidate not on site last night at Morton Middle School, the event sponsored by South Coast Media, was Mayor Correa. The 4 candidates last night touched on a number of issues. Let's take a look at this short clip of some of their opening statements.
I'm going to begin tonight. I only have 2 minutes for an opening statement. I'm going to get right into it, why I'm here. Started last summer when the city passed J.Zil Correa, along with the council at the time, passed the first budget, which increased taxes all the way up to the legal maximum. I told a friend of mine, Josh Silva, at the time, I said, if he did this again next year, I wasn't going to support J.Zil going forward, and they did the exact same thing. So there's been bad hires by the administration as far as DCM, had like several different people hired. You got snow owl investors being hired, things I don't agree with. You have the government being weaponized with building inspectors being sent on every person basically that disagrees with J.Zil. There's tons of reasons why I didn't support the current mayor.
President John F. Kennedy said it best by asking, are we doing as much as we can do? His answer in 1960 was, I do not think we can. And I want to be clear, Fall River, I don't think we're doing enough. Economic development is stalled. Streets are more dangerous now than they've ever been because of gunshots and opioids. Infrastructure is crumbling. You deserve better. It's true, we're facing many challenges, but with a strong leader who has a clear vision, cooperative attitude, and unimpeachable integrity, we can overcome these challenges by working together. That's why I'm working hard to serve as your next mayor.
I was born and raised in the city, and I care about your city. I was born right here in North End. I came to this middle school. I worked 10 years in retail at Family Dollar up the street. I worked at Bristol Community College. I worked at Gillette Stadium in 2014, and I ran for mayor. This lecture is dedicated to my dad. It's all about education, public safety, economic development. As mayor of this city, I'm ready to run this city with dignity and the voters elect the next mayor, September 12, 2017. And I hope I go on to November 7th as you choose for all 88,000 plus residents in the city. It's time to move on. It's all about the difference up to the voters about public safety, education, economic development. It's all about you guys. And you choose the next mayor of the city of Fall River. Thank you and God bless.
I'm here to share my plan to move Fall River forward in the right direction. My plan will offer solutions, not promises, solutions to concerns that you, the people of Fall River, have expressed to me. When I made a decision to run for mayor, I thought about how much this city had changed in the 16 years that I've been on the council, and how much it changed in a lifetime that I've spent living in Fall River. Experience from life brings with it perspective and understanding that is an immeasurable asset in the decision-making process of a mayor. I understand we need to build this city back brick by brick, but the foundation of Fall River is its people, and the only way back is with its people. You are the mortar that holds the foundation of this city together, but we are all shareholders in this city that we call home. We must come together to share in its success, or we will all be responsible for its failures.
Again, 4 of the candidates last night at the People's Debate at Morton Middle School, sponsored by South Coast Media. Mayor Correa not there last night. He was actually holding a fundraiser on the Battleship, Massachusetts. And again, Will, just the first foray into this process. The Herald News, you'll be sponsoring a forum next week as well, also at Morton Middle School, 1 week from today on September 7th. And as I understand it, you also will have only 4 candidates there. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. We will have Mayor Correa there. He has confirmed that his attendance is expected. But unfortunately, Jordan Sylvia informed us after initially confirming that he won't be attending due to a family commitment. So, certainly understandable that he wants to put family ahead of city politics in his case. But yep, so similar to last night, we will have 4 of the 5 candidates.
All right. Again, the candidates touched on a number of issues, some of the issues that we've talked about quite often here on this show and has been part of mayoral forums of the past few years. Of course, the issue of trash, public safety, taxes, economic development. We invite you to check out FRCmedia. FRC TV Channel 95 will be re-airing the forum here right up until the September 12th preliminary election. You can also see it online at frmedia.org. And next week we'll have coverage of the Herald News debate as well. So we invite you to check in. We'll have more on the People's Debate coming up in just a few moments. All right, Will, a couple of other items of note this week. It looks like that Mayor Correa and FROED, which have had some contentious issues this year, looks like they may be talking again about how they can work together. Fill us in on the latest.
Yeah, so there's been about a half dozen meetings to take place between Frank Marchione, the president of the FROED Board of Directors, and Mayor Correa in regards to the potential of FROED having a role in the city's economic development situation again. Our understanding is these conversations have not included Ken Fiola in any way, so it's unsure if there is some aspect of his sticking on that is part of this, but they are happening. I think the FROED board is looking to, again, be in control of the community development agency money that they had been allocated in the past, which is roughly $325,000, I believe. $325,000. So those talks are progressing. There's another one scheduled for next week, and we'll see if that leads to any sort of agreement between the two sides.
Maybe kind of difficult to continue the working relationship if Ken Fiola, who is the face, if you will, of FROED, been there for many, many, many years, is not involved in this process at all, or at least part of what will be a potential agreement going forward. Yeah,
it would seem to be. It could be interested. Certainly, Ken has been here a long time. He has his supporters and he has his detractors. It's pretty well known at this point what the mayor's office feels about the current state of FROED. So, will that be part of any agreement going forward? We'll have to wait and see. And who knows if even the two sides will agree to anything. We're still waiting to hear as to what the mayor's economic development plan is. This is something he had said that would come out, as the split with FROED was taking place way back earlier in the summer. So a lot of unknowns remain about the leadership of economic development in Fall River at this point.
One other item from this week, Mayor Correa holding a news conference in the south end of the city on Dwelly Street as he was announcing his Make It Safe initiative and creating an Office of Housing Development, which will look at some blighted properties across the city and opportunities for the city to take control of those sites, especially vacant buildings, vacant dwellings across the city, and take some action against that. And part of the press conference this week was actually part of a demolition of a dwelling on Dwelly Street in the south end of Fall River. We've seen these initiatives before, Will, with other mayors. What makes this one maybe different?
Well, certainly within this one, it seems there's a real effort to try to coordinate aspects of city government. From the sounds of it, the way the mayor pitched it, there are all these entities from building inspectors to the fire department to police, the tax end of things, who are all working, to identify problem properties, but there's not a lot of coordination between them. So the idea of this office would be to improve coordination, kind of create that sort of cliche one-stop shop of information that all this could be funneled into. And hopefully, if police identify a property with a problem, and the inspection office, excuse me, is also aware of it. Things can start happening, get the ball rolling faster, and get something done with it rather than each entity operating independently and hoping the other is aware of what's happening there.
All right, we'll follow along with this. All right, Will, it's a long holiday weekend coming up. What's going on at the Herald?
Sure, we're going to have some previews of the mayoral candidates. We had some Q&A sessions with all 5 of them that we'll be hopefully having responses from each that we'll present to the readers on Sunday, and that will certainly get us heading into the post-Labor Day pre-preliminary election season.
And of course, 1 week from today will be the Herald News debate at Morton Middle School. All right, Will, have a great long weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, you too, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Fall River Career Center. Clinician, St. Vincent's Home, located at 2425 Highland Avenue, is looking for a full-time clinician to perform patient examinations, diagnose and treat injuries or illness, and prescribe medications. Job number 9480951. Associate Universal Banker. Webster Bank, located at 33 Sullivan Drive, is in need of a full-time Associate Universal Banker responsible for opening customer checking or savings accounts and handling various teller transactions. Job number 9474262. Aquatics Director. The Fall River YMCA, located at 199 North Main Street, is looking for a full-time aquatics director responsible for the operation of the pool, supervising the aquatics team in leading, training, and developing all programs with staff and volunteers. Job number 9480997. Blount Fine Foods, located at 630 Current Road, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions. Material Handler, job number 9481953. Warehouse Materials Supervisor, job number 9477679. The Fall River Public Schools Department, located at 417 Rock Street, is looking to fulfill the following full-time positions for the 2017 and 2018 school year. Special Education Paraprofessional, job number 9477690. Cafeteria Assistant Driver, job number 9477691. For more information on these or other positions, visit frcmedianews.org or call the Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. As we discussed earlier with Will Richmond, the first mayoral debate of the season, the People's Debate, was last night. All 5 mayoral candidates were invited to participate. The only no-show was Mayor Jaziel Correa. After the hour-long debate, FRC Media News spoke to 3 of the candidates in attendance. Here is a synopsis on how they answered the question about what they feel makes them the best qualified to assume the office of mayor.
I've been a public servant my entire adult life. I served in the military for 13 years. One of those years I served in combat, so I understand what it's like to be able to put my life on the line for our country. But I also put my life on the line for our city by serving 3.5 years in the fire department. Couple that with my time in the city council, I've been a public servant, again, my entire adult life. But I also help people develop budgets as a financial advisor, work and grow their money from point A to point B, so that way they can have a better life than they thought they were going to have when they retire. So I know how to be able to build budgets and develop plans in order to be able to make those things happen. But the city also needs somebody who's going to work hard and lead by example. I've been working with my hands for a long time working for the government. I've been working with my hands for a long time, being a kid who grew up in the city of Fall River with limited means and working to get my way out of that. And I'm going to continue doing that for the people of Fall River because that's what they deserve. Somebody who's willing to work hard for them, lead by example, and somebody who's going to sit in the mayor's office and realize that the office of the mayor is greater than one person. It's about the 88,000 people who live and work in the city of Fall River.
I really believe that I have the experience that others are lacking, from being a former teacher, for owning a business, being a social worker, being an investigator with the DA's office, being a property owner. I get it. And I think I have a vast experience. And being there, the amount of time that I've been on the council and been honored to be there, I know people that work within the city, and I know how we can streamline and get things done. As a city council, you're one of 9, and you can't get things done. Look at Casella. I could have had a company in here to take our recyclables for 20 years for free and open up a facility here and hire people. But you couldn't do that because if the mayor didn't agree with it, it wasn't going to happen. And that's why I'm running. Honestly, I retired. You know, I could stay home, run for city council, get elected probably again to city council. I just can't stand to see what's going on in the city. There needs cooperation. We need teamwork. We need to get along. Everyone's idea is important. This is a democracy and not a dictatorship.
As I said to the other candidates, there is no job description for mayor. So what gives you the qualifications to serve in this powerful role?
Because I love my city. I was born and raised in the city. I attended right on here. I attended this high school. I mean middle school, sorry about that. But my niece just graduated from there. She's on the way to Diamond. So it's all about the youth that I said in the debate. It's all about them. And I'm ready to lead my city in the right direction. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and fight for the city of Fort Worth that I love.
It was a little contentious tonight, some argument here and there. What's your feeling about that?
I don't think that's right. We're here to debate our issues, and I don't think that's right. We all came here because we love our city.
Again, FRC Media will be playing a lead role in this year's municipal election. You can follow us here on Channel 95 FRC TV and also find out information about the candidates and the issues on our 2 websites, frmedia.org and frcmedianews.org. If Bristol County Chamber President and CEO Rob Mellion has his way, an election ballot question for 2018 would include asking residents if they want to lower the current sales tax rate.
Recently, the Retailers Association of Massachusetts moved forward on initiating a ballot question along with a number of other ballot questions that have already been initiated with the Attorney General's office here in the state of Massachusetts. The ballot question initiated by the Retailers Association is to reduce the sales tax. The sales tax right now in Massachusetts is at 6.5%. And we compete against Rhode Island that has a 7% sales tax. New Hampshire has no sales tax. So one of the arguments here to lowering the sales tax is that we used to be at 5%. And the other argument is that retailers in Massachusetts and across the country are under tremendous pressure. The costs of doing business have increased tremendously over the past decade for businesses. Employment costs, fees, taxes, all these various costs. But employers or not employers per se, but retailers in particular are in a bind. Because of pressure from technology, because of pressure from the internet, because of competition from outside of the state, they can't necessarily reduce their price to a competitive price against some company in South Carolina. So for them, we need to find some relief. And that's what lowering the sales tax does. It helps give them a little bit of a competitive, not an edge, but just an ability to compete with others who can produce a product at a lower price point.
Would be against lowering taxes, according to Mellion, some state legislators, for this reason.
The rationale to that is we have some budget problems here in Massachusetts. We're spending far more than we're bringing in when it comes to revenues. The revenue forecasts were far higher in their predictions than what has actually been coming in. And the gap has been, the initial gap was around 200 million, then it became 400 million, and then it went up to about 800 million. And it was a significant revenue gap. And then it went back down a little bit due to some end of year purchasing. It went down to about 600 million.
But wouldn't lowering the sales tax bring more folks out to buy products and services?
Now you're talking about the rationale of the Bristol County Chamber of Commerce and the Retail Association and many other chambers and business associations across the state. What we're saying is that if you create an incentive for the population to purchase here in Massachusetts, rather than go to the internet, they will, or more people will, hopefully do exactly that. We at least have to try, because brick and mortar is under more pressure than it has ever been previously, and we need to find some assistance for them. We need to find some relief for them.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Today we have this beautiful pup, Nina. Nina is our 1-year-old pit bull terrier. She may seem kind of shy at first, but once she warms up to you, she is a very, very playful girl. She loves being out in the play yard, chewing on her toys, coming up and just getting rubbed, anything for attention. If you have a lot of energy, Nina's got that energy. She would be glad to share with you. This is our guinea pig, Buddy. He is a year old, very friendly, very loving. As you can see, he's kind of a cuddle bug. Buddy was a surrender. Very simple, you know, food and water and just a little toy with some grass that he absolutely loves to eat. Today we have this lovely lady who is Speckles. Speckles is a domestic short-hair cat. She is 6 years old with beautiful white and black markings. She's a very loving, cuddly, always wants to be on the move. If you are looking for a nice, furry, loving friend, please do come on down to 300 Linwood Drive, Fall River, Massachusetts.
Stay with FRC Media as we provide complete coverage of the 2017 Fall River municipal election. As we prepare for the September 12th preliminary election, FRC Media is the place to learn about the candidates and the issues this campaign season. The candidates running for mayor and school committee have recorded 3-minute statements as part of our Meet the Candidates program. Watch them on FRC TV Channel 95 or online at frmedia.org or frcmedianews.org. Stay with FRC Media as we provide coverage of 2 mayoral forums leading up to the preliminary election, and of course, join us as we work with our colleagues at FRG-TV on reporting the results on election night. The most comprehensive coverage of the Fall River municipal election can be found at FRC Media. The Department of Conservation and Recreation next week will be planting trees on private property in the Maplewood and Sandy Beach neighborhoods per resident request. Here's more.
So the program is the Green the Gateway Cities program, and it's a program started by the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, and it's administrated by the Department of Conservation and Recreation. And it's an energy saving program that we're going through the gateway cities, planting trees to reduce homeowners the cost of heating and cooling by, shading. The best example, the easiest one, is like you have a big bay window, and then we plant a tree and it blocks the summer sun from coming in, and then in the fall, in the winter, it loses its leaves, and then the sun can then come through, warming the area. But there are also advantages for like randomizing wind patterns and absorbing water from stormwater runoff. So there's a lot of benefits to homeowners who can have trees planted in their home for free. We do have so what we do is the homeowner will call 617-997-1795 if they live in the Sandy Beach or Maplewood areas of Fall River, and then they have a consultation with one of our urban foresters, and then they can decide with the homeowner if there's room for trees and what species will work best for the homeowner and for the program. And then our crew comes, and we plant the trees for the homeowner, and then all we ask is that the homeowner waters the trees for 2 growing seasons just to keep them alive and enjoy them.
Now, why in just that particular neighborhood in Fall River?
Well, we looked at the area, and it's sort of the older housing stock sort of situation, and based on the canopy too. So when we looked out overhead, we said what areas could really use trees, and then it was also sort of within the boundaries of those 2 neighborhoods. So it was a good pilot program when we started to see what could really benefit from it. So we thought these 2 neighborhoods would have a great opportunity to increase the tree canopy and could really, benefit from the program. So that's where we started with the boundaries there. So it was easy for people who lived in the neighborhood to know. So we weren't breaking it down by like streets. And it was, if you live in the neighborhood, great. And they knew they could have the trees. So.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can catch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. and online 24/7 at our website, frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. We leave you today with these images of the recent boat races held on Fall River's waterfront last weekend. Have a great weekend and a great long Labor Day. We'll see you next Thursday.